One of the most common questions I hear about EMDR intensives or EMDR in general is what if it works, but only temporarily? Like, what if I feel better for a while, but then I'm right back to where I started? And so, if you have trauma, that fear makes sense, absolute sense, because, like, when you've lived with something for a really long time, it's hard to trust that change can actually stick. It's like this has always been your experience. So let's honestly talk about what lasts, what that means, and how that looks over time. So when people ask about do the results from EMDR, or trauma healing in general last, they're asking more than one question. They're asking, like, will my symptoms come back? Will I still have panic? Or will the relief wear off? Or will I need to keep doing this again and again? Like, do I need to do a checkup? Or was this just kind of a temporary break from these symptoms? All great questions. They deserve real answers. So here they are. Research on EMDR, including studies from like most recent years, consistently show that when traumatic memories are fully processed, those memories are done. They are stored differently. And so it's not something that has to be repeated because the healing is complete. So unlike other tools like that you have to practice over time, these results, once you go through the process and do the healing, are just complete. And the research shows that the improvement holds over time. And in long-term follow-ups, people who complete EMDR often have, like, they keep their reduction in PTSD symptoms months, years later. And this shows up across different populations and treatment formats in different countries. So more recent research looking at intensive trauma-focused programs like EMDR that are delivered in concentrated formats show the same thing. Symptom reduction tends to be durable, not fleeting, and many of those improvements are still at follow-up 6 months, a year, or longer after treatment. Because what EMDR is changing isn't just how you feel in the moment, it's how your body and your nervous system store and respond to past experiences. So once a memory is fully processed, it loses its emotional charge. It stops being triggering or stops triggering your body. And so the responses become part of your story, not something you're reacting to in like an ongoing way. So that change, that healing doesn't wear off because it's not something that you're actively holding in place. It's an integration shift rather than just a tool that you're using. So think of it less of like calming yourself down and resolving some. Instead, it's more like resolving something that was unfinished. And when that happens, your nervous system doesn't have to keep reminding you, keep revisiting, keep being like, hey, this is still painful, because it doesn't hurt anymore. After an EMDR intensive, some people notice really clear changes right away. Less panic, fewer intrusive memories, more space in their body, and that feels wonderful. And there's other changes that tend to kind of unfold over time. Your confidence grows. Oftentimes trust with ourselves is not something you can do just in a snap, because trust is built over time. So as your patterns, even if your patterns have shifted in a big way or your triggers have shifted in a big way, it might take time for you, your nervous system, and your parts of self to trust that those results are going to stick. And that doesn't mean that the work didn't stick. It means that integration is continuing to happen. Trauma healing is often nonlinear. The initial process creates the conditions for change, and life is where it all gets reinforced. What people sometimes mistake for losing progress, and this is very important, is like feeling stressed again. It doesn't mean that the EMDR stopped working. Having a hard week doesn't mean that you're back at square one. Having a painful emotion about something that's like similar to something you've worked through doesn't mean that it didn't work. And that's because trauma healing doesn't make you immune to stress or to grief. Painful things are still painful. But instead it gives you more capacity inside of the current ongoing experiences. And one of the most consistent long-term outcomes that people report is not that nothing ever bothers me again, but I recover faster, I trust myself more, I don't spiral the same way when things are hard. I have more grit, I have durability. So, how long do EMDR intensive results last? For many people, the changes from an EMDR intensive are not temporary, they're permanent. Research shows that processed trauma tends to stay processed. And in my own experience and that of other therapists, shows that people continue to build on that foundation long after the intensive is over. That doesn't mean that every problem in your life goes away, but it does mean that the past has significantly less control over the present, and that change tends to be permanent. If you're curious how this kind of work could help you, or you'd like to explore what us working together might look like, you can learn more at my website, www.alliechristycounseling.com. Or, of course, you can always subscribe for more videos like this. When your nervous system and your body truly integrate something, it doesn't need to keep repeating the same pattern, the same story to try to stay safe. And that's why for many people, EMDR intensive results don't just feel good, they last. I'll talk to you soon.